Hikaru Nakamura. If he doesn't take on f4, then first of all, Wesley can take on e5, and then he'll be threatening knight f3. Suddenly that pawn on d4, once the pride of black's position, is feeling very uncomfortable because its chaperone is about to disappear.
The thing about these e4, e5 positions, there's always attacks raging on the same side. It's like the cornucopia of... There you go.
Whoa! I mean,
listen.
Stay away.
All right, there you go. That was
SAT tutor right.
Always miss my handshakes and my fist bump. This is the third.
Another
how did
one?
you not see? They saw it. You were right here.
I was looking at my computer
right.
screen.
I fist bumped. We like this. It's okay. Anyway, the cornucopia.
I'm sorry. See, now you're making me feel bad.
That's okay. Well, it's in the past. We're on camera. I mean, I wish it was it was just Hikaru and Wesley, and we were just talking. But now everybody saw that. Now this is going to be a clip. It's okay. It's good.
It's okay.
Right? Good promotion.
More views,
material.
content.
Anyway, you're the Chad there. You left me out to dry. Well, this is what I will say. There's a lot of same-side attacking positions in e4, e5 games, and it's kind of got a reputation of being a positional opening, right? It's been around for centuries, but there's opportunities all over the place to attack each other.
Yeah, no, this is squarely unpleasant. Now a 3-minute time deficit. Hikaru is in trouble here. Let me just flat out say that he's got to be very precise these next couple of moves. We'll keep an eye on whether he can solve these challenges, but there are more challenges faced by Anish Giri in his game against Neil.
But it's been removed, actually. It's been, they passed new legislation. They said the word is too bogus. Nobody actually knows it.
Well, they also
if a word is used by 2% of the population, is that actually a real word?
Keep talking, and they might pass legislation banning Levi Rosman from being a commentator.
I mean,
never,
listen,
never.
if it means I don't got to deal with consternation and foible all day, maybe I'm not the worst thing in the world. As we're talking, though, Wesley's time is ticking. He has to make a decision.
It's ticking. I want us to go to the two-board view because I'm just like these two games are competing for every pawn that disappears from the board. Correct me if I'm wrong. The drawing chess has increased. I think Anish is as close as he's been in the last 20 moves to drawing this game. He's threatening knight c5 check, and then, my cat could draw this, and I don't even have a cat.
Well, I have a dog, and I don't think my dog would be able to draw this position with either color. I think Benji is more than capable of losing the game. It's very important when you talk about endgames, and you think about endgames, which you hopefully don't and have better things to do, that a pawn deficit doesn't mean a whole lot, because when you break it all down, rook and knight versus rook is a draw. And that means that Anish Giri could lose his pawns and his knight, and Nihal will keep the knight on the board, and that is still a draw with, obviously, best play, which Anish will likely demonstrate. So, rook endgames 3-on-2, draw. Pawn endgames 3-on-2, not a draw.
Exactly.
But he will avoid that situation.
Yeah, and I mean, Anish doesn't even really have to trade knights. He's fine keeping the knights on the board. Look at Nihal's clock. He's down to 7 seconds, so now it's rook takes d7!
There was rook. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about this game. We're coming down to the wire in this game as well. Will Hikaru hold this?
Will Hikaru hold this? He is down in exchange. The stakes are high. The match is tied. It's 1.5 apiece. This is the final game of the day. Can Hikaru keep his knight stationed on d4? Can he keep the pressure on the f-file at Bay Levy? I think those are the questions that Hikaru has to make sure are answered in the affirmative. Yeah,
and what do you trade here if you're Wesley? Do you try to get the queens off? Do you try to get a pair of rooks off, like rook f6? I mean, you don't want to get too desperate. Black has a blockade here. That's what essentially Hikaru is saying. You're not going to get through here.
Yeah, blockade and maybe even a fortress, although some of us don't believe in fortresses, but...
Yeah, how do you...
break through. Well, rook f6 is actually not a bad try, I think.
No, rook f6, and then what?
Actually, rook f6, rook d6 doesn't look all that bad. But I think even in the event of the rook trade, it's not that the knight on d4 dissipates. It's it's still going to be there.
The thing is about this position, okay, this is a bit of a stretch. It's losable with white if you try to take risks to win it.
Oh, no question.
Right? That's the knight on d4 is super tricky. You might lose both pawns. Suddenly you lose b4, you lose all your pawns. You're in an endgame down 5 pawns. I don't know how that happened. But
hey, with Hikaru, anything can happen. Rook f4 by Wesley.
Knight f3 is a very interesting idea, by the way.
Oh my god, there's an amazing idea, because the queen is suddenly undefended, and you're trying to reroute the knight to f5 and win those 5 pawns.
I'm going to try to win, yeah. d3, b4, c5, a5, e4, g3, just take everybody.
g3, h2, h5, d4. So knight f3.
And he played it! Wow! What a move! The knight is hanging 3 different ways, but when the queen trade happens, the d-pawn suddenly can't be guarded.
And with the d-pawn, and the knight on e5 guards f7.
Is Hikaru playing this for a win?
Change of roles with the rook capturing the pawn and the knight guarding f7. Queen f2, though. Levy, Wesley doesn't have to trade queens, but after queen f2, I think knight g5 is actually very logistically unpleasant, because now the pawn is hanging, the pawn on f7 is protected, and white's position falls apart.
He didn't trade queens, but he didn't play queen f2. I think he played queen
e2, better move. better move, but this is the best Hikaru's setup has looked like ever since he's given up the exchange.
And he's only down a minute and a half.
He's
How
not
does he
losing
manage
this.
to do this?
I mean, not only is he probably not going to lose this, he doesn't even come close to losing these positions.
Right, because the only weakness in his position is f7, is the king.
Yep.
Everything else is beautiful, minus the fact that he's down a rook for knight. But what's happening here is the relative value of the knight is increasing. It's like a 3.5-point knight, and the rook is like a 4.5-point rook.
Well put. He can shuffle between d4 and e5 with his queen. He can shuffle between g8 and g7 with his king.
The time advantage is now down below 1 minute. Again, a situation where if Wesley just moves back and forth, does Hikaru try to push this somehow?
So he might. I mean, maybe some well-timed h4.
Queen c3? Attacking the pawn on b4? How do you defend it?
Well, you can play queen d2.
Yeah, then I guess he goes back.
So he can test him. He can also play knight e6, but Levy, you pointed out the knight is actually very well placed. Almost got to Wesley again.
Now I'm Wesley. He's Levy.
Hikaru, Wesley, are jumbled in my head, but knight e6 is a possibility here.
Yep.
I like the placement of the knight on g5. I think you should reserve knight e6 for the situation in which d4 is actually threatened. Right now, he deals with d4 in another way.
There's queen b2, but
rook
queen
takes
b2,
e4?
Right, rook e4.
Oh, then Black's going to start playing for a win.
Exactly right. That's why Hikaru tanked there for nearly a third of his clock time.
Yeah, queen b2 would be very scary were it not for this rook takes e4 tactic.
You really don't want to get pinned here, but actually, if anybody's king is weaker on a diagonal or an open space. Right, queen e6 always, queen e6, queen b3 ideas.
Or rook back. I mean, rook d6 goes knight e6, and he's going to go right back to g5 on the next move, I think. Right back to g5.
Is this the repetition we're going to get? Rook f3, knight g5? This is Wesley offering a draw.
I don't know. Wesley might consider pushing this. I mean, even psychologically, you're up in exchange. You feel morally obligated to give it a shot. But I wouldn't hold it against Wesley if he takes the draw here.
He seems to be
Here
repeating.
we go. Hikaru's taking a little time. He's like, wait a minute. Can I flirt with,
Can you imagine Hikaru plays this on for a win?
No, I literally cannot. The only reason he would is because he might be thinking, well, Wesley declined a draw earlier. I'm going to show you who the boss is.
Wow.
I'm going to show you what happens when you decline a draw against Hikaru Nakamura.
Wow! Playing on for a win, down an exchange of rook to knight. That's
and
just
for very good reason. Look at that queen, Levy. What is it doing? It's contesting both sides of the board. It's threatening h3. It's threatening h2. Wesley might be in trouble here.
This is such a nasty feeling. Wesley's like, are you kidding me? Do you know who I am? Hikaru's like, yeah, I've played you hundreds of times. That's
very
a really
well
weird
do.
thing to
You should have
ask.
taken the draw when you had a chance to see Hikaru Nakamura. Wesley down to 2 minutes. How do you contain Black's queen and Black's knight?
I don't think you can. You got to choose. Oh my gosh, queen h3 is coming in.
And barely White holds on after king g1. I still think Wesley is holding this. Queen h3, king g1, h4 already deserves consideration. You shouldn't forget about queen c3. But after h4, I think gh, and White can sack the exchange back if necessary.
That's always a thing that White can do. Give up the rook for the knight when it comes in and just basically say, I cannot lose this. We also have to keep in mind, there are various queen c3s lurking. You just have to not blunder the entire position over here. King g1 and...
Rook takes b4 is an insta-draw.
Oh my gosh, that's so gross.
So Hikaru has a draw in his pocket. With every ticking second, it becomes more likely, and there it is.
And there it is. Yeah, that's... Wesley will... There's no way to lose, right?
Well, queen b4, queen g3, king h1. The knight on g5 is contained. Knight f3 almost mates, but that rook on f1?
Yeah.
Wait, knight f3?
Queen b2 check first, and then you can
But
cover
then the rook is... How do you cover it, though?
Well, you're not really threatened, I guess.
Well, queen h3 is a threat there.
Or maybe rook f2 and rook h2.
Take and queen f3, queen takes d1. Can we make these moves on the board really quick?
Yeah,
no, okay, never mind. They're making them.
Ah,
okay,
well, they're pre-moving.
I guess there was a reason knight f3 doesn't work. A draw is agreed by repetition.
Oh.
What a game!
What a game!
What,
yeah.
Again, we have 2 draws.
I know. We were calculating some crazy stuff with knight to f3.
Because if you take it, then the queen captures and forces